the day I met him in a London coffee shop. I still remember the gentle rain that fell over London that autumn morning. The streets glistened under the soft golden lights, and people hurried along the sidewalks with umbrellas in their hands. It was my first visit to the city, and everything felt magical. The old buildings, the red buses, the peaceful parks, and the aroma of freshly brewed coffee drifting through the air. Looking for a place to escape the rain, I walked into a small coffee shop tucked away on a quiet street. It wasn't fancy, but it had a warm atmosphere. Soft jazz music played into the background, and the smell of roasted coffee beans filled every corner of the room. I ordered a caramel latte and found a seat near the window, watching raindrops race down the glass. Little did I know that this ordinary morning would become the most unforgettable day of my life. As I reached for my notebook, someone accidentally bumped into my table. My coffee nearly spilled. I am sorry, a deep, gentle voice said. I looked up. I, standing in front of me was a tall young man with kind brown eyes and a warm smile. He looked genuinely embarrassed. It's okay, I replied with a smile. Nothing happened. Insist, he laughed. Let me buy you another coffee. I hesitated for a moment before agreeing. His name was Ethan. What started as a simple apology slowly turned into an hour-long conversation. We talked about London, our favorite books, music, travel, and dreams. It felt strange how comfortable I was with someone I had met only minutes earlier. There was no awkward silence, only effortless conversation and endless smiles. Before leaving, Ethan asked, would you like to meet again tomorrow? I smiled. I had loved to. The next day, he showed me a side of London that tourists rarely see. We walked along the peaceful street of Notting Hill, admired the colorful houses, and laughed while trying different desserts from a local bakery. Later, we sat beside the river Thames, watching the city lights reflect on the water. For the first time in years, I felt completely understood. Over the following weeks, we met almost every day. Sometimes we explored museums and art galleries. Other times we simply sat together in Hyde Park, sharing coffee and talking about everything and nothing at all. Ethan listened to every story I shared. He remembered my favorite flower, my favorite song, and even how I always smiled whenever I saw the sunset. He made ordinary moments feel extraordinary. One evening, while walking across Tower Bridge, he suddenly stopped. Can I tell you something? He asked. Of course, I wasn't looking for a love when I walked into that coffee shop. He looked into my eyes. But the moment I met you, something changed. My heart raced. I think I have fallen in love with you. For a moment, the world became silent. The traffic disappeared, the city lights blurred, Only his eyes remained. I smiled through happy tears. I think I fell in love with you that very first day too. From that day evening onward, we became inseparable. Love wasn't always perfect. There were misunderstandings, busy schedules, and moments when life tested our patience. Sometimes work kept us apart for weeks. Sometimes we argued over little things that didn't really matter, but every disagreement ended the same way. We talked, we listened, we forgave. Because we knew that love wasn't about winning arguments, it was about protecting each other's hearts. Ethan often reminded me a relationship grows stronger when two people choose each other every single day. Years passed, but our little coffee shop remained our favorite place. Every anniversary, we returned to the same table by the window where our story had begun. The owner eventually recognized us. You two always look at each other like it's your first date. She once said with a smile, maybe she was right. True love never becomes ordinary, it keeps finding new reason to smile. On a snowy December evening, Ethan invited me back to that very coffee shop. Everything looked exactly the same. The jazz music, the warm lights, the smile of fresh coffee, except this time there were candles on our table. As I looked around in surprise, Ethan stood up, reached into his pocket, and knelt on one knee. Holding a beautiful ring, he smiled with the same warmth I had seen the first day we met. Meeting you was the best accident of my life, he said softly. You turned my ordinary days into beautiful memories. You became my safest place, my biggest supporter, and my greatest adventure. He took a deep breath. Will you spend the rest of your life with me? Tears filled my eyes. Before I could answer, yes, I whispered 1,000 times yes. The entire coffee shop erupted applause. Some stranger even wiped away tears. Months later, we were married in a beautiful countryside garden just outside London. Family and friends celebrated with us, but what mattered most wasn't the grand decorations or the music, it was the promise we made to choose each other during happy days and difficult ones, to celebrate victories together, to hold hands during storms, to never stop laughing, to never stop listening, to never stop loving. Today, whenever someone asks how our love story began, I simply smile. It all had started with a rainy morning in London and a small coffee shop where a stranger accidentally bumped into my table. Sometimes the most beautiful relationships don't begin with grand plans. They begin with a simple I'm sorry, a warm smile, and two hearts that were meant to find each other in the most unexpected place.